युट्युब र इन्स्टाग्राम हेरेर बसिराख्नु भएको छ। आज मसँग एउटा विशेष छलफल गर्नका लागि जुन चाहिँ लागु पदार्थ सेवन हाम्रो गाउँघरमा जानेर होस् नजानेर होस् हर दिन हामीलाई आइपरिरहेको समस्या हो। तपाईँले हेर्नुहुन्छ भने 2024 सालको, म 2000 धेरै अगाडिदेखिकै भन्छु, 2024 सालको तपाईँ एउटाबाट एकाइ हेर्नुभयो भने 2024 सालमा स्टेट अफ ओहायोमा कतिजना मान्छे 2023 सालमा 2023 सालमा यो हाम्रो स्टेटमा ओहायोमा जम्मा 4452 जना मान्छे, सुन्नुहोस् है, 4452 जना मान्छे ड्रग ओभरडोजले मरेछन्। 4452 जना 2023 मा भने 2022 सालमा 4915 जना मान्छे, 2021 सालमा 5174 जना मान्छे चाहिँ यसरी वर्षेनीको मसँग स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स छ, त्यतिजना मान्छे चाहिँ ड्रग्स अथवा लागु पदार्थ सेवनको कारणले यहाँ मृत्यु भएछ। अब त्यही सिलसिलामा हामीले यहाँ हेरौँ, फ्र्याङ्कलिन काउन्टीमा हेर्नुहुन्छ भने 2023 को सङ्ख्या हेर्नुहुन्छ भने 2023 मा फ्र्याङ्कलिन काउन्टीमा 701 जना मान्छे ड्रग्स खाएर मरे भने 2022 मा 753, 2021 मा 786 र 2020 मा 803 जना मान्छे ड्रग्सको लागु पदार्थको सेवनले उहाँहरूको ज्यान गयो। र यो सिलसिला एउटा घरमा एउटा गाउँमा एउटा मान्छेलाई मात्रै छैन, यो समस्या सबैका लागि समस्या छ। यो समस्याको समाधान कसरी गर्ने त हाम्रो गाउँघरमा भएको छ भन्दालाई जनचेतनाका आधारमै यसको समाधान गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने हाम्रो आशय हो। जो तपाईँहरू बस्नुभएको फेयरफिल्ड काउन्टी छ, विशेष गरी रेनल्सबर्ग पिकरिङटनको, रेनल्सबर्गको त फ्र्याङ्कलिन काउन्टी लेकिन काउन्टी र फेयरफिल्ड काउन्टी तिन मिसिएको छ। पिकरिङटनतिर बस्ने फेयरफिल्ड काउन्टी छ। त्यो फेयरफिल्ड काउन्टीकै तपाईँ सानो काउन्टी हो, त्यसको सङ्ख्या हेर्नुहुन्छ भने 2019 मा 28 जना मान्छेहरू चाहिँ ड्रग्स ओभरडोजको कारणले उहाँहरूको मृत्यु भएको छ भनेदेखि 2023 मा सिर्फ 2023 मा मात्रै जम्मा 53 जना मान्छेको त्यहाँनेरि ड्रग्स ओभरडोजको कारणले मृत्यु भएको छ। भने यो अत्याधिक ठुलो सङ्ख्या हो र हाम्रो गाउँघरमा पनि यसरी लागु पदार्थ सेवन गरेर मर्नेको सङ्ख्या अत्याधिक धेरै बढेको छ। र यसबाट बच्नका लागि अहिलेसम्मको स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स, अहिलेसम्मको अध्ययनलाई हेर्दा के गर्दा चाहिँ यसबाट बच्न सकिन्छ भन्दाखेरि उहाँहरूको भनेअनुसार एउटा बच्नका लागि भनेको खालि जागरुकता, चेतनाका कारणले नि बढिन्छ, जग्न सकिन्छ भन्ने बुझाइ छ अहिलेसम्मको कुरा। र त्यस कारणले आज तपाईँहरूलाई मैले एउटा छोटो भिडियो लिएर आएको छु। यो भिडियो हेर्नुहोला, त्यस पछाडि मसँग भलाकुसारी गर्न आउनुभएको छ यसमै काम गर्ने विशेष व्यक्तित्व हुनुहुन्छ। यहाँ कसरी तपाईँ घरमा कसैलाई समस्या परेको छ भने त तपाईँलाई त्यस्तो समस्या परेको छ भने यसबाट कसरी उपाय निकाल्न सकिन्छ भन्ने जानकारी लिएर हामी आएका छौँ र तपाईँले यो भिडियो हेर्नुहोला अन्तिमसम्म। यो भिडियोमा जानकारी गराए धेरै कुराको जानकारी पाउन सक्नुहुन्छ।
It was around when I was 13 or 14, and you kind of find yourself trying to pick and choose your friends, and also at the same time, you know, you're not really worried about what you want to accomplish at that time, but what people you want to hang out with.
I wanted to fit in.
Wasn't a popular kid in school, and it made me forget about all that.
You know, like, oh yeah, everybody else is doing it, so I'm gonna do it.
Friends were doing it.
I just wanted to jump right in and have fun. I did drugs because it seemed like it was fun.
It was the cool thing to do.
The cool thing to do was to get high, go to parties.
Growing up, you know, you're struggling.
Couldn't deal with life.
So I didn't have to deal with life.
I wouldn't listen to anyone.
I was stubborn.
Like as a rebellious thing.
This is what the rebel kids were doing.
I just wanted to see what it was like.
I started experimenting with it.
Experimenting with friends.
First tried it because I was bored.
I was always up to try something new.
You know, when I was growing up, we had this program, it was just say no, just say no.
People are just saying no, but they're not saying why.
It's like telling a person no and then they go do it.
Sparked my interest on drugs.
I knew that they were bad, and I always heard about this addiction, but I didn't know what it meant.
That's probably the #1 reason why I did drugs in the first place. I just didn't know.
Drugs are everywhere. They're in magazines, movies, TV shows, you know, billboards. They're all over the place. You know, in the movies they make it look cool, but in real life it's not cool. It's a serious problem.
And a lot of times they try to glamorize drugs. Like, make drug dealers or getting high look cool, but that's only in the movies. In real life, it's a whole different story.
All drugs, whether we're talking about alcohol, marijuana, LSD, these are all essentially poisons.
It would depend on the amount that you take. I mean, a lesser amount might just speed you up, make you feel really active. Stronger amount or a stronger dosage would act as a sedative, make you slow, sluggish, tired. And even more amounts, it would kill you. You'd have an overdose.
Every drug works in these stages. It's only really the amount needed to make the effect that's the difference from drug to drug.
A person who's taking drugs, whether for physical pain or just to try and block off any sensations they don't want to feel, those sensations are actually just being pushed away and getting worse and worse.
You're gonna be totally numb and just not be able to feel anything.
When you take drugs, the drug goes through your bloodstream, and later on in your life, that drug can, come back up and into a flashback when you use the drug.
You could have taken LSD one day and like a year down the road, it could come back into effect and you can start hallucinating again.
And it's not just LSD, it's every drug. So you can get hit with the effects of a drug even a long time after you stop taking them.
Drugs definitely affect the mind. Everything you see around you is different than what's really going on. You can't hear correctly, see correctly. All of your senses are totally thrown off. Your perception is definitely distorted. It makes it dangerous for you and others because you don't know what's going on. You can't handle things, the way they're supposed to be handled.
Drugs affect your memory so much. It doesn't matter if you're taking them for a long time or just a short period of time.
I know, like, when I first got, just tried studying and stuff more, I really couldn't concentrate, couldn't pay attention.
I went from, a straight A student to, a B- student, C student.
Then I quit going to school and I would get really frustrated.
It's like your brain won't function. You can't think straight. Like everything is messed up.
I never got anything done. I would start on something and I wouldn't finish it. It just didn't happen.
It was just unbearable. I couldn't deal with life at all. I couldn't get a job because I was just out of it completely.
My decisions were based off of, what this drug is telling me to do rather than, what I want to do.
I got them from friends in school.
2 friends.
A friend of mine.
My older brother's friends.
Bunch of girlfriends.
Boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend. Older guy.
My dad.
My cousin. My brother.
My older sister.
Older kids.
My buddy just said, you can do it every once in a while, it'll be no problem.
Told us it was going to be the best thing we've ever done.
You can do it once, you'll be fine.
It's not gonna hurt you, really.
It's just a little pick-me-up. You can't get addicted to it.
They said it's not something that you're gonna be taking every day. It's just something that you can take when you wanna have fun.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun time.
It's a fun drug to be on. Makes you easier to talk to girls.
And they said it'll bring you up.
It's gonna make you feel different. You're gonna like it. You're gonna feel good.
It's all in your face that's the thing to do.
All it is taking a drug dealer's word for it.
When you're trying to get someone hooked, you'll say whatever you can to get a customer. You're lying for them to believe you so you can make money.
I would tell people it's fun, makes you energetic, makes you more likable. It's something, people want to be around. I tell them whatever they wanted to hear in order to pick that first one up.
When I was 12 years old, I didn't say, hey, I want to be 24 in rehab. I never said that to myself. But that's what became true, and I never thought about it when I was 13 years old. I started smoking pot.
I was that kid that started out with marijuana and played around with certain party drugs, whatnot, and I told myself specifically that I would never do certain things, cocaine, heroin, and it only took a short time for me to finally accept it and be like, okay, I'll try that.
I had no idea where it would lead me, to almost dying, to stealing, lying, cheating, ruining relationships. It didn't matter.
I didn't get into sports. I didn't get into the clubs. I didn't even go to prom.
Left me with living on the streets without a family, and is that what I set out to be? No, I was just set out to have a good time at college parties.
The drugs robbed me of all the pleasure of life. The drugs took away my family. The drugs took away my girlfriend, my friends.
I looked back on 5-6 years of my life and saw that all I had done is absolutely just ruined incredible opportunities that I had to have success and hurt all the people around me.
It's not just something that's gonna affect tomorrow, it's gonna affect forever.
You don't have to find out everything for yourself. You don't have to find out what a car accident experience is like.
Do yourself a favor. Don't fall into the same footsteps as so many other people have.
And realize that you could be the guy living under the bridge shooting heroin.
You might think you won't get like that. None of us ever did, and we wound up in those same shoes.
What I would tell people is just, I would give them my story.
I would tell them my exact story.
I would tell them my story.
A story like mine.
Insanity of my story.
Ultimately, it comes down to their own decision making.
You have to get the facts. Check the statistics.
Find out for yourself.
Find out for yourself.
Find out the actual truth of what these are and what they're going to do to your life.
I would just say to anybody, if you're going to do something, if you're really going to do something, go educate yourself on it beforehand. I think there's a lot of truth in that.
धन्यवाद तपाईहरुले जसले हेर्नुभयो आजको भिडियोमा हामीले शेयर गरेका थियौं यसमा चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ त ड्रग्स को सेवन गर्ने मान्छेहरुलाई भनेर उहाँहरुको जुन समस्या थियो त्यो समस्याका बारेमा आज हामीले धेरै कुराकानी गर्यौं र तपाईहरु कतिजनाले हेर्नु होला तपाई कहाँबाट हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ प्लिज तपाईले हेर्दै जानु होला यसको बारेमा तपाई कस्तो भयो तपाईले मलाई भन्दै जानुहुन्छ र म यो भन्दै गर्दा आजका म पाहुनालाई म अगाडि बोलाउन खोज्दै छु मैले आज अलिकति छुट्टै तरिकाले यो स्क्रिन बनाएको छु र यहाँनेरि अलिकति कोसिस पनि गर्दै छु र मैले यो लगभग तयारी पारिसके र म चाहिँ मेरा पाहुना आजका हुनुहुन्छ उहाँको छोटो परिचय गराउँछु र म उहाँलाई अगाडि स्क्रिनमा बोलाउँछु मसँग हुनुहुन्छ I'll be talking in both the languages so my guest today is Neil Oxman उहाँ हुनुहुन्छ आज मसँग उहाँ एउटा सानो ओहाइको एउटा सानो गाउँमा हुर्किनु भएको उहाँ हुर्केर त्यहाँ पढ्नु भयो पढ्दै जाँदाखेरि उहाँ धेरैवटा किसिमका कामहरू गर्नुभयो उहाँले अहिलेसम्म भन्नु पनि हुन्छ र त्यो गर्दै जाँदा उहाँ ठुला कम्पनीमा साना कम्पनीमा काम गर्दै जानुभयो तर काम गर्ने क्रममा उहाँ कतै पुग्नु भयो र पछाडी गएर चाहिँ यो ट्रुथ अबाउट ड्रग्स भन्ने प्रोग्रामको बारेमा उहाँले जानिसकेपछि उहाँ अहिले धेरै समयदेखि त्यहाँ काम गर्दै आउनु भएको छ र आज उहाँसँग बसेर हामी भलाकुसारी गर्छौं यो मान्छेहरुले लागु पदार्थ अथवा ड्रग्स किन खान्छन् र ड्रग्सबाट कसरी बाहिर निक्लिने यस्ता कस्ता खालका समस्या हाम्रो गाउँघरमा परेका छन् यस्ता समस्याले कहाँ मान्छेलाई पुर्याउँछ भन्ने विषयमा हामी चिन्तन गर्छौं र तपाई सबैलाई म के भन्छु अनुरोध गर्छु भने आज मेरो इन्स्टाग्राममा यो नगइरहेको छ यो समस्या भएछ आज तरै पनि तपाई कहाँबाट हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ प्लिज तपाई सधैँ लेख्नु होला यो भिडियोलाई शेयर गर्नु होला किन हाम्रो गाउँघरमा पनि यो ठूलो समस्या छ हामीले माने पनि नमाने पनि धेरै समस्या छ र यो समस्यामा कसरी जागरुकता ल्याउने भन्ने विषयमा आज हामीले यो कार्यक्रम गरेका हौं तपाईले सुनेभरि कस्तो खालको सुन्नु भएको छ विषयमा सुन्नु म हामीलाई लेखिदिनु होला र सल्लाह दिनु होला त्यही भन्दै म आजको पाहुनालाई अगाडि निम्ताउन चाहन्छु So I'm inviting my today's guest here. Hi, Neil. Namaste.
Namaste. Hello, everyone.
Hi. How are you doing today?
I am well, thank you. And thank you for this opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Neil. So we'll talk about this video in a minute, but I am introducing you. I just shared your introduction a little bit of what I have in this with my audience. So as we discussed a little bit before we go live that I'll be speaking both the languages and I'll be asking you the question in English and hopefully you'll be answering them in English only. And I will be simultaneously interpreting them into Nepali, not a word by word, but in general, a gist I'll be talking about. But many of my audience will be understanding English as well. So with that said, how are you doing today?
I am well. I'm very well. Thank you.
Great. So as I mentioned to you before, like you are okay with sharing your age with my audience. So you're 75 years.
Yes.
And 75 years before Ohio means it's a quite long time. You grew up in Ohio, right?
No, actually, I grew up in New Jersey.
Oh, you came all the way to the place with the snow, right?
Yeah.
New Jersey. So like the life at that time is very different than life today, I believe. I had some discussion about a person who is 72 years old, like maybe a month ago, and at that time they were sharing with us what was the days at that time, and a lot of people have shown interest and were surprised and shocked. So just for the fun fact, can you tell me what was the price of a gasoline at that time? When you were adult, I mean youth, like maybe 16, 17, 20, 18.
Yes, I can recall gasoline being less than $1.
$1 a gallon, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now we're getting like close to $3 nowadays, right? So
or more.
or more. Thanks. So yeah. So about this one, drugs things, what we are talking about today. In your experience, can you tell me? Let me start the conversation about what is drugs means. Like there are two, right? Everything we're talking about the drugs, we go and get it for the Tylenol also is a drug, and if you're getting insulin, that's also a drug. So can you bring us in the context what is drugs for our discussion today?
Of course. Let's break it down into two categories: medically prescribed drugs for a specific problem, and street drugs, illegal use of drugs. That would be the first place to go.
मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ ड्रग्स भन्छौँ हामी होइन ड्रग्स भन्दा ड्रग्स तपाईँ बजारमा जानुभयो टाउको दुखेर टाइनोडल किन्नु भने त्यो पनि ड्रग्स नै हो इन्सुलिन ल्याएर तपाईँ त्यहाँ चिनीको रोग हुने मान्छेहरू लगाएको त्यो पनि ड्रग्स नै हो अनि ड्रग्सको के त फरक छ त भन्दा दुईवटा कुरा हुन्छन् हामीले ख्याल गर्नुपर्ने औषधि लागु औषधि र औषधि पनि बुझ्नु पर्यो जुन डाक्टरले लेखेर कुनै बिरामी जाति हुनका लागि भनेर दिएको आफूलाई दिएको दबाईलाई चाहिँ ड्रग्स डाक्टरले दिएको भनिन्छ औषधि भनौँ भने जुन चाहिँ अब यो स्ट्रिटमा गएर बजार बाटामा गएर इलिगली रूपमा गैर कानुनी रूपमा किनेर मान्छेले खाने गरेको हुन्छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ इलिगल ड्रग्स भनेर भन्ने गरिन्छ
Right. Because the medical drugs that are prescribed for someone are used to help bring someone back to health. Drugs, on the other side, are used for a variety of reasons, but they're not used for health reasons. They're used, as you heard in the video, people don't feel they can deal with life. They want to fit in. They want to try something different, and the drugs overpower them.
अब अर्को कुरा उहाँले भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ जुन चाहिँ डाक्टरले दिएको दबाई हुन्छ त्यो दबाईले हामीलाई बिरामबाट जाति बनाउन लागि हामी खाने गर्छौँ हैन तर जुन चाहिँ अर्को दबाई जो हुन्छ मान्छेले इलिगली खाएको दबाई जो हुन्छ मान्छेले जिन्दगीमा हार खाएर मेरो जिन्दगी केही रहन्छ भनेर हार खाएर अथवा अरू साथी बनाउन नसकेर अथवा आखिरमा मैले बाँचेर पनि के गर्नु र भनेर खाइसके त्यस्तो खालको जुन चाहिँ अघि तपाईँले भिडियोमा हेर्नु भने कतिजनाले हेर्नुभयो भिडियोमा हेर्ने साथीहरू सायद थाहा पाउनु भयो होला यस्ता खालकोलाई चाहिँ हामी इलिगल ड्रग्स भन्ने गर्छौँ okay so you kind of get into this one a little bit I have some audience I have a Indu Hussein Gautam is watching from Virginia I have a Gauri Subedis is watching from Reynoldsburg Ohio and Bhagavat Adhikari watching from Louisville Kentucky there are 3 people like we have 25 people watching at this time that will be I think तपाईहरु को कहाँबाट हेर्दै हुन्छ प्लिज तपाईको सिटी लेख्दै जानु होला तपाईको क्वेशन के छैन क्वेशन राख्दै जानु होला So next question is, so you told about to fit in. Can you explain what does that mean? I mean, a lot of people may understand, a lot of people may not understand that one. So not to deal with life, escape from relax, be popular. These are the terms that you have used. Can you explain those terms? I think your video got frozen right now. Somehow something happened to that one. But हेर्ने दर्शक साथीहरु उहाँको भिडियो के हुँदैछ Okay,
I've
go ahead.
had
Now
some
you are a
experience
little bit
with
frozen for
other,
some time, but can you
other
continue now?
communities. Sure. I've spoken with a number of people in different communities, and when people have come to this country, many times mom and dad both work. They work 1 or 2 jobs. Their students have a lot of time alone, and they associate with other young people. They want to be accepted and be part of the friends that are there. Sometimes those friends use drugs, and they can be misled into believing that they will be popular, be liked, be one of the group if they use drugs. And that's where they can run into trouble.
Great. उहाँलाई मैले सोधेको थिएँ मान्छे किन खान्छन् त भने फिट इन भनेको अब कस्तो हुन्छ भने नानीहरू अब एक किसिमको नानीहरू कतिजनाको सबैको नभनौँ कतिजनाको नानी 2 जना 3 जना 4 जना नानीहरू भएको बाबाआमा 2 जना काम गर्न जानुहुन्छ अरू घरमा नानीहरू घरमा बसेका हुन्छन् अनि घरमा बसेपछि एक्लै नानीहरूसँग कोहीसँग भेट नहुने उनीहरू अरूसँग जाँदाखेरि नमिलिएको जस्तो देखिन्छ अनि उनीहरूसँग मिल्नका लागि उनीहरूले त्यहाँबाट ड्रग्स खान थाल्छन् अनि त्यसबाट अब त्यो तपाईलाई गीताको श्लोक पनि मैले जोडेँ यहाँ, संगात सञ्जायते काम, जुन संगतमा गयो त्यो संगतमा बढाएर लान्छ अनि त्यहाँबाट उनीहरूले ड्रग्स खाने सुरुवात पनि गर्छन् भन्ने कुरा गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। तपाईँले केही बुझ्नु भएन भने सोध्नु होला, म छोटो छोटो व्याख्या गर्दै जान्छु। सो you have a very long comments written by Indu Bhushan Gautam. Let me read that one. It's quite a long, this one. Thank you for giving chance to ask question to very burning issue in US. About 30% of people are suffering from suffering, and the government program are not producing that many results. I have two questions. One, although illicit drugs and alcohol use have been leading death, economic and social problems are as well person's cognitive abilities. It is possible to stop or reduce it to be less harm by using education, awareness, and psychological counseling. Need to enforce heavy taxes, and 50% of the tax money should be allocated to this program. There should be there should be online issuing of users license, and each time they have to be passed disorder identification test, kind of screen test. Do you think these are possible? That's number one question. Number two, what has been done? Number three is, I'm extremely sorry and apologize. Please do not take it as a disrespectful comment. I have to refer for the true fact on this question. Made in China electronic cigarettes called vape, which are banned in the US, used in China and smuggled by the Chinese Indian business people to the US and openly sold. And in India made chewing tobacco called gurkha are sold as a masala in many Indian Pakistani store in the US. Or anything have been done to stop these two extremely harmful substances? Wow, it's quite long comment.
Yes.
Let me tell these things in Nepal a little bit. Indu Bhushanजीले लामो कमेन्ट लेख्नु भएको छ। उहाँले भन्नुहुँदैछ हाम्रो गाउँघरमा गुड्का खाने भयो, समस्या भयो, यस्ता विभिन्न किसिमका समस्याका लागि कुनै समाधान छैनौँ, यस्तो खालको सम्भव हुन्छ कि हुँदैन भनेर भन्नुभएको छ। धन्यवाद इन्दु भूषणजी, जहिले पनि तपाईँले साह्रै राम्रो कमेन्ट लेख्नुहुन्छ, सेयर गर्नुहुन्छ, त्यसको लागि विशेष धन्यवाद। So Neil, before I ask you to respond, I have a Chakra Adhikari watching from Melbourne, Australia, Buddhi Karki watching from Pickerington, and also Januka Adhikari from Canada. So we have people from all worldwide. So can you respond to Indu Bhushan?
Well, I can respond in two parts of it. Number one, we are a nonprofit foundation, the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. So we are government programs. We are completely non-government in our program. That's the first thing I would like to explain and make sure that he knows. Okay, let's start with that.
All right. उहाँले भन्ने जवाबमा भन्नुहुन्छ, हामी जो ड्रग फ्री वर्ल्ड भनेको चाहिँ नितान्त गैर नाफामूलक संस्था हो, हामीसँग गभर्नमेन्टसँग कुनै पनि सम्बन्ध छैन, यो कुरा चाहिँ उहाँले बुझ्नुहुन्छ भन्नुहुँदैछ। Go ahead.
Okay. Now let's go to the vaping issue. Vaping is not a drug, so we don't specifically address that. But we know that the vapes that are sold in this country can have up to 70 to 90% THC in them. And THC is the concentrated drug that people want for the effect that it causes. But vaping, because it is so highly concentrated, it's like smoking multiple packs of cigarettes with one use of the vape, one complete cartridge. It can cause something called popcorn lung, where the lungs are just so affected they close down. And it looks like popcorn inside the lungs, and they cease to function. I've spoken with several schools in the area. They have vape alarms in the student bathrooms because they have a constant problem with students trying to vape during school hours, between classes, whatever, and it's becoming a huge problem. Can we stop it coming in? I don't know, because I don't work on that side of the problem. Our whole emphasis is educating young people so they can make their own choice not to use drugs. And it's very good at doing that because it gives them the straight facts. No glamorization, no other way to look at it. This is the drug, this is where it comes from, this is what it does to the body, this is what it does to the mind, and then students make up their own minds. I mean, if you have teenagers or if you have middle schoolers, you know you can't tell them. They have to decide for themselves. So what we do is we give them the facts and then they get to choose.
Right. थ्याङ्क यू। मैले उहाँले उहाँले भन्नुहुँदैछ अब जुन जहाँसम्मको भेपिङको समस्या भयो, तब अहिलेको जुन पहिलो पाटाको क्वेसन त्यसलाई ल्याउन दिने नदिने सरकारले गर्न नदिने त्यो पाटो त भएन। त भेपिङको समस्या छ। भेपिङ भनेको चाहिँ टिएचसी भन्ने किसिमको भनौँ, अब केमिकल भनौँ, टिएचसीलाई अर्कै डेफिनेसन त्यसको, तर त्यो केमिकल चाहिँ अब एकखेप भेप गर्दाखेरि एक प्याकेट सिगरेट खान जति त्यसको भनौँ अब सिगरेटको विषाक्त औषधि भनौँ अब त्यो केमिकल जो जान्छ एक प्याकेट जाने चाहिँ एकखेपको भेपिङमा जान्छ अनि जान सक्छ। 70-80% त्यसको टिएचसी भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि जब त्यो खाइसकेपछि फोक्सामा जो हुन्छ, फोक्सामा चाहिँ मकैको फुल त यत्रो यत्रो भएको छ, मकैको फुल जस्तो देखिन्छ। पपकर्न भनेको मकैको फुल जस्तो देखिन्छ फोक्सो चाहिँ। अनि त्यसको परिणाम चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने त्यो फोक्साले काम गर्न छोड्छ। र अहिले विभिन्न स्कुलमा नानीहरूले मसिना भाइ बहिनीहरूले त्यो खाएकाले गर्दा कतिवटा स्कुलमा चाहिँ भेपिङ अलार्म लगाएको पनि छ। अलार्म गरेर बस्छ कि नानीहरूले गएर बाथरुममा गएर त्यो भेप गर्ने गरेको समस्या पनि यहाँ छ। अब स्कुलमा लान दिन सक्ने नसक्ने, रोक्न सक्ने सक्ने त मेरो क्षमता भएन कि त्यो पाटाको समस्याको बारेमा म काम गर्दिनँ, उहाँले भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ। तर के चाहिँ हो भने नानीहरूलाई शिक्षा दिने, तिमीहरूले भेप गऱ्यो भने यो खालको तिमीहरूको कन्सिक्वेन्स, यसको परिणाम यो हुन्छ र यस्ता खालका समस्यामा तिमीहरूले जुझ्नुपर्छ भनेर जानकारी गराउने, उनीहरूलाई शिक्षित बनाउने र उनीहरूले आफै निर्णय गरून् कि मैले खानु हुँदैन भन्ने जानुन् र नखाउन् भन्ने हाम्रो उद्देश्य हो। यसमा हामी सबै लागि परेर काम गरेका छौँ भन्नुहुँदैछ। Thank you so much. Wow, that is quite an answer. Do you have to add anything else on this one?
Well, we have a booklet. Actually, what I'd like to do is show this to everyone. This is a packet of booklets on all of the drugs that we provide information on, except for the fentanyl booklet, which is not in the box yet. Alcohol, ecstasy, and a number of other drugs, meth. And in the one on marijuana, which is, I'm sorry, it's reversed, they mentioned that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that vaping caused 70 deaths and over 2,700 hospitalizations in 1 year. So
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
Yes. 70 deaths from vaping and over 2,700 hospitalizations in 1 year. And most of these victims suffer lifelong lung damage.
Wow. Now let me repeat that one. So 7,000. That this is in the US or in the one state of Ohio, right?
No, this is US.
Okay. अब सबैले ध्यान दिएर सुन्नु होला है त। म स्पेसली मेरा मसिना भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई भन्छु, तपाईँ भाइ बहिनीहरू तपाईँ हुँदैन प्लिज लेखिदिनु होला है कमेन्ट, कहाँबाट हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ, ठुलै मान्छे हुँदैन लेखिदिनु होला। यो गाउँघरमा हाम्रो गाउँघरमा बहुतै आवश्यक पर्ने कुरा हो, तर कसैले नभन्ने, भन्दाखेरि के हो भन्ने कुरा होला, कसैले डरले नभन्ने, कसैले केले नभन्ने होला। अलि यहाँ लेखिदिनु होला, तपाईँलाई कमेन्ट लेख्नुभयो भने अर्काले हेर्छ र त्यसलाई नितान्त सेयर गर्नु, किन गाउँघरमा यो धेरै भएको समस्या हो। म सुन्छु, तर अब कोही पनि बाहिर आएर भन्न चाहनुहुन्न। अब आज हेर्न चाहनुहुन्छ थाहा छैन होइन। आज चाहिँ फेरि इन्स्टाग्राममा आजै चाहिँ भएन, फेरि इन्स्टाग्राम बस्ने भाइ बहिनीले धेरै हेर्नुहुन्थ्यो होला। अब भेपिङ भनेको एउटा सानो बट्टा हुन्छ, त्यो बट्टामा सुर्प पारेर बत्ती बाली त्यो के भन्छ त्यो सिगरेटमा आगो लगाइरहनु पर्दैन, यत्तिकै आउँछ धुवा। अनि त्यो खाँदाखेरि जम्मा 1 वर्षमा भेपिङकै कारणले मात्रै मरेको 70 जनाको चाहिँ ज्यान गइसकेको अवस्था स्ट्याटिस्टिक्समा छ, त्यति चाहिँ भएको। र 2,700 जना मान्छे चाहिँ हस्पिटलाइजेसन भएको भेपिङका कारणले यो युएसको स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स उहाँले भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ। र हाम्रा धेरैजना मसिना भाइ बहिनीहरूले भेपिङ गर्नुहुन्छ, कतिजना लुकेर गर्नुहुन्छ, कतिजना देखिँदै गर्नुहुन्छ। भाइ बहिनीहरूले ठुलो भाइहरू हुनुहुन्छ, अब मेरै उमेरको भनौँ, उहाँहरूले पनि अब अलिक सान देखाउनको लागि कोही बेला सकर खेल्न गएको होला, भलिबल खेल्न गएको होला, बास्केटबल खेल्न बाहिर छेउबाट तानिराख्नु भएको हुन्छ। अब उनी त कसैले तान्दै गर्दा नखा भन्ने कुरा उहाँको खुसीको कुरा हो, तर पनि त्यसले अर्कालाई इम्प्याक्ट पारेको हुन्छ र उहाँहरूको त्यो स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स हामीले जान्नुपर्ने भयो। जान्ने चाहिँ कस्तो भन्दा 70 जनाको ज्यान गएपछि एउटा तपाईँ पनि पर्न सक्नुहुन्छ अथवा तपाईँको छोरो, तपाईँको नाति, तपाईँको भाइ, तपाईँको दाजु, तपाईँको बहिनी, तपाईँको श्रीमती, तपाईँको श्रीमान पनि पर्न सक्नुहुन्छ भन्ने हाम्रो भन्न सक्ने सम्भावना छ। त्यसकारणले यहाँ नपरौँ भन्नको लागि र हस्पिटलाइजेसन 2727 जना मान्छे चाहिँ हस्पिटलाइजेसन भएको छन् भन्ने कुरा भनेको छ। I have a friend from Bhuvan, Gautam, which is my same name. We call it Miti, means we have a kind of relationship here, and then same name. He's telling, he's a Dr. Gautam. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Vaping is truly a public health epidemic, and we need more open conversation like this to support prevention and education among our youth population. Dhanyavad, Bhuvanji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Please continue, Bhuvanji. Please write some questions so that other people will benefit it, because people don't want to come and write because they may be questions. So you can help bring the conversation into life. Thank you. Niels, do you want to add anything on that one, the vaping things?
Well, it's the information we have is part of this marijuana booklet. This whole set, if you want a set of these booklets, you can order them online. I would also add that being in Central Ohio, we are available to meet with community groups, church groups, school groups, parent-teacher organizations, present the information to you, and give you copies of all of these materials at no cost, because we are a nonprofit foundation.
Thank you. अगर तपाईँ हामी कोही सेन्ट्रल ओहायोमा बस्छौँ भने मन्दिर, चर्च, अरू सङ्घ संस्थाहरू जो छौँ, तपाईँहरूले कार्यक्रम गर्नुभयो भने उहाँहरू आउनुहुन्छ, उहाँहरूले आएर चाहिँ निशुल्क यी पुस्तकहरू बाँड्नुहुन्छ. In fact, you were in the one of Diwali event where I knew you, when I saw you, and I read, I think 2 or 3 of your books while I was sitting, 2 or 3 of stories while I was sitting there, and I read a couple of books after coming back home. These are very, very useful and educating, super easy, but very important books. I just wanted to bring that up. And let me tell that same thing in Nepali. उहाँ कार्यक्रम दिवालीको कार्यक्रममा आउनुभएको थियो पिक इन्टरनेट स्कुलमा. मैले उहाँलाई देखेर यो कार्यक्रममा आउनुपर्छ भनेर मलाई भनेको थिएँ. यी साह्रै सरल भाषामा लेखेका, अङ्ग्रेजी भाषामा, धेरै भाषामा तर अङ्ग्रेजी भाषामा सरल भाषामा लेखेका साह्रै उपयोगी पुस्तकहरू छन्. र अगर तपाईँ कोही मन्दिरमा, कोही चर्चमा अथवा विभिन्न ठाउँमा काहीँ हुनुहुन्छ, तपाईँले कार्यक्रम गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ नि, उहाँहरू निशुल्क कार्यक्रमका लागि त्यो तपाईँ कार्यक्रममा टेबल स्थापना राखेर यो पुस्तकहरू दिनुहुन्छ. तपाईँ सबैजना यो ल्याउन सक्नुहुन्छ, उहाँले त्यो भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ. So that now other question here come, Neil. So just a myth, but I just want you to brush that myth. A lot of people in my community, I think that's true for all other communities also, but I am in my community, I know about that, tell me that if you talk about drugs, people will get into drugs. So better not to talk at all, so that nobody will get into that, nobody will know about that. So that is the fear whenever I was talking about that. Can you tell me what does the statistics says and what is the fact about that?
Not talking versus talking about drugs?
Yeah. So the idea is that if you talk about drugs, people will be encouraged to go and try. If you don't talk, nobody will go and try, so they'll be safe. That is the understanding.
Exactly. That is why we call it the truth about drugs. Each of these booklets has a video that goes along with it, particularly some of the harder drugs like cocaine and crack cocaine, crystal meth. When you hear stories told by young people who have suffered through that drug, it makes an impact with the students. They're hearing from someone who could be in their family, because you saw in the introductory video, these are young people whose lives have been ruined by drugs. Each of these booklets has a video chapter that goes with it. We have an educator kit as well for school teachers and church groups that has a full curriculum, so you can have your students learn about all of these drugs one at a time, and then they will have the facts. We feel an educated student has the chance to make the right decision. A student who has no facts listens to their friends, or they say, I'll just try it. I'll make up my mind by trying it. But that could be the worst thing that could happen. I have an acquaintance who lives down south, had a son 14 years old, good kid, good student, into sports. They went out one night, left him home with a friend. They came home, he was dead on the floor because his friend had gotten him to try a drug, and the boy was dead on the floor by the front door when they came home. It can happen that fast. So this man is now doing a lot of great work with Drug Free World because he knows firsthand what can happen. The students need the facts. Like you saw in the introductory video, just say no is fine. We give you the why, what the drug will do to your body, what the drug will do to your mind. And these students who give you the video presentations will show you what it does to your life if you fall into this trap.
All right. Thank you. So important. मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ हाम्रो गाउँघरको बुझाइ चाहिँ के छ भने हामीले ड्रग्सको बारेमा कुरा गऱ्यौँ भने झन् नानीहरूले ड्रग्स खान थाल्छन्, बरु कुरै नगर्दाखेरि बचिन्छ भन्ने खालको किसिमको बुझाइ छ। मैले उहाँलाई यो सत्य हो भनेर सोधेको थिएँ। उहाँ के भन्नुहुन्छ भने त्यो सत्य हो होइन भन्नुभन्दा उहाँलाई अझै फेरि सोध्छु म त्यो कुरा। तर यहाँनिर मसँग पुस्तक छन्, यी पुस्तक सँगसँगै भिडियो पनि छ। यो पुस्तकमा लेखिएको छ कसरी एउटा सानो नानी ड्रग्स अथवा लागु पदार्थमा जान सक्छ अनि गइसके पछाडि उसको कथा व्यथा कस्तो हुन्छ र त्यसबाट फर्केर आएका मान्छेहरूले लेखेका कथा छन्। यहाँ उनीहरूको आफ्नो आफूले भोगेका भोगाइ लेखेका छन् र भोगाइ लेखिसकेपछि कुनै पनि बालकलाई कुनै पनि नानीले 17, 12, 15, 16 वर्षको नानीले त्यो पढ्छ यस्तो हुँदो रहेछ भनेर जान्दछ, चेतना उसको टाउकोमा आउँछ। अगर त्यो चेतना छैन भनेदेखि किनभने हामीले चाहे पनि नचाहे पनि माने पनि नमाने पनि यो अहिलेको जमानामा नानीहरू जो पनि मान्छे ड्रग्स अथवा लागु पदार्थको कोही न कोहीसँग कन्ट्याक्टमा आउँछन्, साथीभाइसँग बाटामा स्ट्रिटमा कतैबाट आउँछन् र उनीहरूसँग ज्ञान छैन भने आज खाइदियो एक दिन खाँदा के हुन्छ भइहाल्छ नि भन्ने हिसाबले ट्राई गरे भने त्यहाँबाट लागु पदार्थमा के भन्छ त्यो कुलतमा लाग्न सक्छ, आज भोलि पर्सि गरेर जान सक्छ। उहाँले एउटा मेरो आफ्नो साथीको छोराको कुराकानी गर्नुभयो। मेरो छोराको थियो, एक दिन उहाँले साथीको घरमा नानीलाई पुर्याउनु भयो, फर्केर आउनुभयो कतै जाँदाखेरि त्यो साथीले चाहिँ उहाँको छोरालाई ट्राई गर्ने केटा भनेर ट्राई गर्न लगाएछन्। 14 वर्षको नानी घरमा आउँदा नानी दैलामा मरिरहेको लास भेट्यो 14 वर्षको नानीको। त्यो देखेर नानी गयो। कारण के भयो त भन्दाखेरि साथीको घरमा साथीको सङ्गात सञ्जायमा सङ्गतको कारणले ऊ खायो मर्यो र तिनी मान्छेले अब भोगी नानी छोरो त मरिगयो तर छोरो मरे पनि अहिले चाहिँ ड्रग फ्री वर्ल्डमा बहुत धेरै काम गरेर समाजमा जनचेतना ल्याउने काम गरिराख्नु भएको छ, जुन चाहिँ तपाईँ हामी पनि जो हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ त्यही काम गरिरहेका छौँ र तपाईँलाई पनि यो मेरो अगाडि मेरो कुरा सोध्नुभन्दा अगाडि जो हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ प्लिज यसलाई तपाईँले सेयर गरिदिनु होला र कसै न कसैसँग यसको बारेमा कुराकानी गर्नु होला। किनभने हेर्नु यस्तो राम्रो उपयोगी भिडियो बनायो भने हेर्ने मान्छे कम्ती हुन्छौँ हामी, 24-25 जना मात्रै छौँ आज। अरू बेला अरू कुरा गरेर धेरैजना हुन्छौँ, तर आज चाहिँ हामी धेरैजनाले हेर्नुपर्ने, धेरै गाउँ पुर्याउनु पर्ने हो, तपाईँले क्वेसन गर्नुपर्ने हो। र त्यति भन्दै म अब अर्को कुरा यहाँनिर किरण कार्की इज आस्किङ अ क्वेसन. Tej Kafla is watching Scranton. Kiran Karge is asking, heard smoking vape for a long run has a high chance of suffering from seizure. Is that correct?
Well, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what the long-term effects are going to be. The documentation that we have, if I can get to the page quickly.
So as you get the page, I'll read another comment from Indu Bhushan Gautam in Virginia.
Okay.
Is telling, thank you for answering my question. We are saluting your noble work very much for your service, which is highly appreciated. Please keep up much very, very needy work. Please kindly feel free to ask us our roles in this regard. We are very happy to participate in. Thank you, Indu Bhushanji.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate that very much. A little more information here. Using the vapes can lead to respiratory failure and death. It depends, obviously, like anything else, how much vaping is being done, with what substances, and they're finding that almost every vape cartridge has marijuana in it.
अब भेप भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ अघि मैले भने एउटा बट्टामा सानो राखेको पानी जस्तो राखेर चुस्दै हिँड्ने हुन्छन् भाइ बहिनीहरूले चुस्दै हिँड्ने हुन्छ त्यसको कारणले त्यस कन्टिन्यू गरियो भने त्यसले लङ्सलाई बहुत रेस्पिरेटरी भनेको त्यो सास प्रश्वासको जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो शरीरको तन्त्र छ त्यसमा ठुलो असर गर्न सक्छ र मान्छेको मृत्यु पनि हुनसक्छ भन्ने चाहिँ उहाँले पढेर सुनाउनु भयो र प्रत्येक भेपमा चाहिँ मारिजुआना भनेको गाँजाको केही न केही रूपमा मिसाइएको हुन्छ भन्ने पनि कुरा गर्नुभयो. Now, my next question to you, as we are moving forward, we are almost half of our time, more than half of our time. How does drug affects the mind? Because that's also a very important part, because there are a lot of myth. Can you talk to me about the myth, and we're going to go to the fact?
Sure. As you heard in the introduction, all drugs are poisons. A little bit may speed you up, more may slow you down, even more may kill you. The problem becomes the drug masks problems that the person might feel they have. They think they're going to be more creative, but that is not the case, because the drugs are running how the person sees the world, how they feel about the world and themselves. All of their decisions are made through this artificial control that the drug drives into the person. So it affects the mind from functioning properly. Without influence of drugs, the mind works properly, makes decisions, uses information, everything is fine. You distort the information coming in or how the person sees the external world, the correct decisions are not going to be made. There, as it pointed out, it's going to block the memory. There are going to be blank spots in the memory. The person will not be able to think straight. They can't deal with life. And so there's no advantage financially, with the family. Anyone with a goal who thinks that drugs are going to help them reach the goal and be successful in life, it doesn't work out that way. You can look at professional athletes who have had serious drug problems and lost their whole career. Artists the same way. Just people like you and me who want to work and have a good family, have a good life, and be a good member of a community. Being on drugs stops all of that and turns the person into a completely different direction that is not good for their survival.
उहाँले जो बताउनु भयो जुन चाहिँ ड्रग्सको मान्छेको विभिन्न किसिमका कुरा भन्ने गरेर चाहिँ यिनीहरूले मान्छेलाई कहिले राम्रो गर्दैन, ड्रग्सका कारणले मान्छेको जिन्दगी बर्बाद हुन्छ, मान्छेको जो एथलेटहरू हुन्छन् तिनीहरूको पनि जिन्दगी बर्बाद भएको हुन्छ। त्यो विभिन्न किसिमका उदाहरण हामीले चाल पाएका छन् र यो ड्रग्सको कारणले मान्छेलाई राम्रो हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा कहिले हुँदैन। धेरै ठाउँमा धेरै कुरामा अप्ठ्यारोमा परिन्छ, यसले भड्खालामा हाल्छ, जिन्दगी बिगार्छ भन्ने निश्चित त यसमा क्वेसन पनि छैन। धेरैवटा उदाहरण पनि दिनुभयो, जस्तो कि हामी जो काम गर्न सक्छौँ, काम गर्न चाहने मान्छेको पनि मतलब समस्या आउँछ। साथसाथै जुन चाहिँ अघि इन्ट्रोडक्टरी भिडियो सबैले हामीले हेर्नुभयो, सुरुको भिडियो थियो जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो भिडियोमा सुरुमा तागत दिने, सुरुमा मजा आउने जस्तो हुन्छ भने अलि बेसी खाएपछि अलिक भने अनि त्यसलाई गर्दै गर्दै भरे अप्ठ्यारो पार्दै पार्दै मृत्युसम्म हुन सक्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हामीले ड्रग्सबाट बुझ्नुपर्ने हुन्छ भन्नुभएको छ। Alright, thank you. So now I have a few questions for you. So there is a lot of which I'll go back to the earlier question a little bit to you about that one. What are the myths? Can you share some of the myths? Because I think those are the things people wanted to know about, the myth about the drugs and the facts and the myth a little bit.
Sure. The drugs will make you more popular.
Mm-hmm.
You can just use it a little bit, you'll be fine. But there are drugs out there where you can be addicted the first time you take it. A drug dealer will tell you anything to get you to buy the drug. His only interest is the money, not your success, not your family, not your life. So it's a matter of the person deciding what's more important and how else can they cope with life. Do they really want to sacrifice their health and well-being just to be popular. The myths are that drugs will make you special, make you more important. You'll be acceptable to other people. You'll be more fun to be around. But that is not the case.
मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ जुन चाहिँ गाउँघरमा अहिले चलेको भाइ बहिनीहरू स्पेसली चलेको ड्रग्स चाहिँ राम्रो हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा कतिजनाको हुन्छ मिथ भनेको चाहिँ बुझाइको गाउँको बुझाइ र यथार्थ चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि मिथको शब्द मलाई ठक्कै आएन नेपालीमा कोही जान्ने साथी हुनुहुन्छ लेखिदिनु होला है मलाई आएन अहिले मलाई भन्नको लागि तर जे होस् गाउँघरको बुझाइ चाहिँ त्यस्तो त्यस्तो हो भने यथार्थ चाहिँ के हो त फ्याक्ट भनेको के तथ्य चाहिँ के हो त भन्दाखेरि ड्रग्सले चाहिँ कहिले पनि तपाईँलाई राम्रो गर्दैन नम्बर कुरा त्यसले पपुलर बनाउँछ धेरैतिर राम्रो बनाउँछ भन्ने कुरा छ भने त्यो पनि कहिले होइन तर ड्रग्सले के गर्छ त भन्दाखेरि त्यो मान्छेलाई पपुलर कहिले बनाउँदैन त्यसले गर्दा भड्खालामा लगाउँछ किन ड्रग डिलर्सले जो ड्रग बेचेर पैसा कमाउने मान्छे उनीहरूले तपाईँको छोरा तपाईँको छोरी तपाईँको आमा तपाईँको बाउको हितको लागि कहिले सम्झिँदैनन् उनीहरूले खालि आफ्नो पैसा कमाउने कुरा मात्रै डलर कमाउने मात्रै कुराकानी गर्छन् त्यस कारणले त्योबाट हामी बस्नुपर्छ भन्ने पहिलो कुरा गर्नुभयो भने अरू कुरा कतिजना स्पेसल निकै यताउता कति हुन्छ नि म यस्तो भएँ भन्ने खालको आफ्नो कुरा आउँछ भने त्यो पनि त्यसले गरेको हुँदैन अनि अरूतिर मिल्ने पनि हुँदैन इम्पोर्टेन्ट हुँदैन के हुँदैन तर यसो नितान्त ड्रग्सले भनेको नराम्रो मात्रै गर्छ नराम्रो हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हामीले बुझ्नुपर्छ भन्नुभयो थ्याङ्क यू सो मच so about next question is which is a little bit we talked about it before now we are towards the end of our program now according to your experience and some of the things that you have seen in last how many years you have in this business why do young people take drugs and what are the introductory drugs for them?
Okay, a lot of young people take drugs because their friends say it's fun, it's good. You want to be with us? All of us smoke marijuana, and marijuana is one of the key ways people start using drugs. It's very easy to get. It's very powerful today, much more powerful than in the 1960s and the 1970s when I was a much younger person. The concentration of the substance that they want, the THC, is much, much higher now. The plants are being modified to provide that. But there are other drugs, even prescription drugs, where young people get together for a party and they take prescription drugs from their home and they put them in a big bowl. Everybody takes a handful and takes them. Remember, those drugs were prescribed by a doctor for a certain person for a certain situation. They had an illness, they had a problem. That's why that drug was prescribed. Another person using it doesn't know how strong it is, what it's for, and how it's going to affect them, and how it's going to interact with the other drugs they take. Prescription drug abuse is a big problem, especially with young people at parties.
All right, मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ अब हाम्रो गाउँघरमा अब गाउँघरमा भन्नाले जो पनि मान्छेले ड्रग्स कसरी सुरु गर्छन् सबैभन्दा चल्तीको ड्रग्स कुन छ केबाट सुरु गर्छन् भन्दाखेरि सबैभन्दा सजिलो हिजो आजको चाहिँ गाँजा सबैभन्दा सजिलो सुरुमा गाँजाबाट सुरु गर्छन् अनि गर्दै गर्दै अरू जाँदै गरे पछाडि अब साथीभाइको भनाइमा लागेर अनि अरू धेरैवटा कारण हुन्छ तर गाँजाबाट चाहिँ सुरु हुने गाँजा अहिले जताभावी पाइन्छ गाँजा अनि एक दिन दुई दिन तीन दिन गर्दै गर्दै भित्र पसिसकेपछि निक्लेर आउन नसक्ने अवस्था पनि पुग्छ भन्दै उहाँले अरू पनि धेरै कुरा जानकारी गराउनु भयो So Chandra Chimoria is telling, drug will destroy your life and suffer from the mental health rest of your life. Drug will change your brain chemical forever, even after being sober. People lapse in stressful situation. Addiction is terrible disease. Say no to drugs. Thank you, Chandra Chimoria ji. Thank you so much. So Neil, do you want to, so also for all my audience, Neil has his email address here, neil@drugfreeworld.ohio.onmicrosoft.com. So if you have any questions, please feel free to write email to him. Also, he has given his phone number, 614-327-4296. And you can ask for any information, literature, whatever you want, because he's willing to come to your mandir, the temple, or churches, or the community event, community centers, so that he can set table and share the literature about the drugs, and how to get rid of drugs, or maybe how to be educated about the.
Yes, educated.
So can you tell about that thing, what you do in a day-to-day life when you were going with this drug-free world?
Okay. Many times, pardon me, as you've just said, we display our information at community events, at school events, um, various meetings and organizations. We let people know that there is a program that will give the facts about the drugs, that will educate people. There are actually recovery services in Central Ohio that are now using some of our booklets with the people who are coming through their recovery program to show them the facts about the drug and help them in their recovery and understand that this is not what they should be doing. Just another story that you might find interesting. We spoke with a police captain in a county south of here in Hocking County. And I asked him if there's a drug problem in Hocking County. And I already know that there is. But he said he has arrested 3 generations out of the same family for drug use and drug sales. Wow. When we made a presentation in East Liverpool, Ohio, which is way over by Pennsylvania, where the lack of jobs has really hurt them, the factories are gone. A woman after the presentation said to me, "Everyone in my family is using drugs or selling drugs." So I want people to understand that it's in every neighborhood. It's not just the poor neighborhoods. It's not middle-class neighborhoods or wealthy neighborhoods. Drugs are a problem in all neighborhoods. And we want to get the facts about the drugs out there so that people can make that informed decision to not use drugs because they understand the results of what's going to happen.
Thank you. उहाँले भन्नुहुँदै चाहिँ बहुतै महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा हाम्रो गाउँघरमा हामीले आवश्यक पर्ने हाम्रा नानीहरू मात्रै होइनन्, न गरिब पैसावाल, अब धेरै पैसावा भएको, ठुलो घर हुने, सानो घर हुने इत्यादि कुरा केहीमा फरक पर्दैन, जस्ताले पनि लागु पदार्थमा कुलतमा लागेको हुन सक्छ। उहाँले हकिन काउन्टीको कुराकानी गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ, जहाँ जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ एउटा उहाँहरूको प्रेजेन्टेसन गर्दा उहाँ पुलिस अफिसरसँग सोद्धा यहाँ ड्रग्सको समस्या छ कि छैन भन्दा उहाँले समस्या त छ, थाहा छ, जहाँ पनि समस्या नभएको काहीँ छैन अमेरिकामा अहिले, अमेरिका संसारभरि जहाँ पनि। र उहाँ भन्नुहुन्छ एउटै परिवारका 3 जेनेरेसन भनेको हजुरबा, बाउ र नाति, छोरो, नाति भनौँ, तिनै जेनेरेसनका मान्छेलाई मैले गिरफ्तार गरेको छु ड्रग्सकै कारणले गर्दा भनेर प्रहरीले भन्नुभयो भने त्यहाँ एउटा गरिबीको धेरै माथि भएको ठाउँमा उहाँहरूले प्रेजेन्टेसन गरिसकेपछि उहाँले भन्नुहुन्छ मेरो परिवारका सबैजना कि ड्रग्स खान्छौँ कि ड्रग्स बेच्छौँ, यो जानकारी भयो, एजुकेसन भयो भने यसबाट फाइदा हुन्छ, केही मान्छेलाई जानकारीमूलक कुरा भइसकेपछि त्यो बाटोबाट बाहिर निकाल्न सकिन्छ कि भन्ने उहाँले म पनि चिन्तित छु भन्ने कुराकानी गर्नुभयो। र त्यसकारणले हामीले पनि हामी जो हेर्दैछौँ अथवा भरे हेर्नुहुन्छ तपाईँले प्लिज सेयर गर्नुहोला, युट्युबमा सेयर गर्नुहोला, कमेन्ट गर्नुहोला, तपाईँले जो हेर्छौँ हामीले पनि यी विषयमा जानकारी लियौँ। केही क्वेसन छन् भने उहाँनिर निललाई तपाईँले इमेल लेख्नुहोला अथवा कल गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ, कल गर्नुहोला, मैले स्क्रिनमा नम्बर पनि राखिदिएको छु। र होल कुरा चाहिँ के भने गाउँघरमा हर दिन एउटा न एउटा समस्या भएर, हर दिन त म अलिक बेसी भयो भन्दिनँ, हप्तामा एउटा जस्तो चाहिँ यो लागु पदार्थको समस्या, गाँजाको समस्या, रक्सीको समस्या, अर्को माछा खेल्ने स्लट मेसिनको समस्या भनेर हर दिन सुन्नमा आउँछ। र यस समाधानमा कसरी जाने त भन्दा धेरैवटा बाटामध्येको एउटा समाधान यो पनि हो, यसमा जागरुक हामीले हुनुपर्छ भन्ने मेरो बुझाइ हो। र त्यस कारणले मैले आज उहाँलाई लिएर आएँ। Thank you, Neil. Do you want to share some of your experience? Like this is one of the experience that you share about some of your own hands-on experience of some young people who are into the drugs and after reading, finding some literature coming out. Do you have any of those examples that you have?
Right now, I really don't. I have friends and associates. One story that I think is very telling. He works with Drug Free World also. By the way, we're volunteers. And he was in a supermarket, and this young girl and her mother were checking out. And the girl kept looking at him. And he finally had to walk over and he asked, "Do you know me or do I know you?" She said, "You presented this information 2 years ago at my school. I took it home and gave it to my brother, and it saved his life."
Wow. Wow.
So it's behind the scenes many times, but we know the information is true, and we know that the students understand it, and they respond to it, and they believe it, and they stop taking drugs.
थ्याङ्क यू, दिस सो इम्पोर्टेन्ट। ल सबैजना सुन्नु होला, यो भयङ्करै महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा। जतिजना हामी छौँ अहिले अलिकति मेरो उमेरभन्दा माथिको नेपाली बुझ्ने मात्रै मान्छन्, यस्तोले के हुन्छ भनेर तपाईँको दिमागमा पनि घुम्दै होला। भने कतिजनाले यो त साह्रै राम्रो जानकारी हो, यसलाई म प्रयोग गर्छु भन्ने होला। दुइटै होला, हामी दुइटैलाई मैले भन्नु केही छैन। तर उहाँले भनेको कहानी चाहिँ जसले बुझ्नु भएन सुन्नु होला। उहाँले भन्नुहुन्थ्यो, मलाई आफ्नो मेरो व्यक्तिगत कथा त छैन, तर मेरो साथी कुनै बेला बजारमा गएर सामान किन्दै गरेर ठाउँमा एकजना दुईजना आमा छोरी बजारमा सामान किन्दै गरेर उहाँले गएर हेर्नुभयो। आमाले सामान किन्दै गरेर छोरीले उहाँलाई आँखा हेरेको हेरेक गरिसकेपछि छोरीलाई गएर, "किन तिमीले मलाई चिन्छौ र किन हेऱ्यौ?" भन्दाखेरि यो जानकारी तपाईँले मेरो स्कुलमा आएर आजभन्दा 2 वर्ष अगाडि मलाई दिनुभएको थियो। यो यही बुकलेट मलाई दिनुभएको थियो। बुकलेट लिएर म घर गएँ। म घरमा गएपछि मेरो दाजुले, मेरो भाइले भनौँ, ब्रदर भने दाजु या भाइले त्यो किताबलाई पढे। त्यो किताबलाई पढिसकेपछि त्यो किताब पढ्नुका कारणले गर्दा उहाँको जिन्दगी उहाँले बचाए, अथवा ड्रग्समा लागु भइसकेका थिए, अब लागु हुन आँटेका थिए, के थियो। तर किताब पढिसकेपछि ती छोराले, त्यो नानीले, सानो भाइले चाहिँ, बाबुले चाहिँ त्यो फ्याक्ट्स भनेको यथार्थ कस्तो हुन्छ ड्रग्स खाँदा मलाई के हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा उनले बुझिसके पछाडि त्यो कुलतमा लाग्नबाट बच्नुभयो। त्यो नानी बचे, अथवा जिन्दगी फलोफुलो राम्रो भयो। त्यसकारणले गर्दा यस्तो कार्यक्रमले, यो कार्यक्रमले यहाँ पाएको कागजपत्रले, डकुमेन्ट्सले गर्दा चाहिँ कसै न कसैको जिन्दगी काहीँ न काहीँ सुध्रिन्छ, अथवा हामीले नपत्याए तापनि यो पत्याउनु पर्ने मान्छेले पत्याउँछ र उसको जिन्दगी बदलिन्छ भन्ने कुराको यथार्थ चाहिँ, तथ्य चाहिँ हामीले उहाँको त्यो स्टोरीबाट सुन्छौँ। उहाँले व्यक्तिगत भोगेको कुरा उहाँले सुनाउँदै हुनुहुन्छ। र त्यसो भन्दै गर्दा तपाईँ सबैलाई कृपया मेरो फेसबुकमा गएर फलो गर्नुहोला, र आजको यो भिडियो चाहिँ सबैले सेयर गरौँ र धेरैभन्दा धेरै साथीभाइकमा पुर्याउँ। किन आज धेरै कम्ती छौँ हेर्ने, किन मलाई थाहा छैन किन नहेर्नु भएको होला, आज झन् धेरै हेर्नुपर्ने हो, आज कम्ती छौँ होइन। विभिन्न कार्यक्रमले केले कसैले कता कता होला, तर यसलाई सेयर गरेर यो संसारभरि नै छ समस्या। यो ओहायो मात्रै होइन, पेन्सिल्भेनिया मात्रै होइन, न्यू जर्सी मात्रै होइन, संसारभरि नै छ समस्या। सबैले समस्या, जसको घरमा 18-20 वर्षका नानीहरू छन् सबैतिर समस्या छ। मेरो छोराले त खाँदैन, मेरो छोरीले त खान्न भन्नुपर्छ, सबैले खान्छन्। तर सबैलाई सेयर गरिदिनु हुन म अनुरोध गर्छु। तपाईँ कसैले हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ भने मलाई फलो गर्नुभएको छ भने प्लिज त्यहाँ गएर फलो गर्नु होला, होइन तपाईँलाई भिडियो फेरि आउँदैन। So we have now last 2 minutes, Neil. Do you want to say anything else to conclude our program now?
Yes, thank you. The website for the main organization is drugfreeworld.org. It's on, you should have that. It's going to be backwards, but it's drugfreeworld.org.
Okay.
All of the videos are there. All of the booklets are there. We also have an educator kit, as I mentioned earlier. And if I can be of any help, please email me at that address or text me at the phone number first and tell me how we met so that I know who you are, and I would be glad to help you any way I can.
Thank you. Thank you for finding that time. It's almost like 4 months or 3 months ago we met once, and we make a real thing that today we are able to meet today. So thank you for finding that time. Thank you so much. In the meantime, I also like to thank all my audience, those who make comments, those who are watching from across the world. If you please share your city which you are watching from, तपाईँ कुन सिटीबाट हेर्नुहुन्छ प्लिज लेखिदिनु होला। र तपाईँ कसैलाई फेरि यसको बारेमा अरू जानकारी लिन मन लाग्यो भने कल गर्ने नम्बर हो 614-327-4296। यो नम्बरमा कल गर्नु होला। यो नम्बरमा कल गरेर अथवा त्यो इमेलमा इमेल गरेर तपाईले कसैले मन्दिरमा अथवा कोही तपाईँ चर्चमा जानुहुन्छ, चर्चमा अथवा के भन्छ हाम्रो राई बन्धुहरूको, किराँत बन्धुहरूको त्यो मन्दिरमा यस्तो कार्यक्रम राख्ने विचार गर्नुभएको छ भने भन्नु होला। उहाँलाई भन्नुभयो भने, मलाई भन्नुभयो भने त्यो कार्यक्रम राखौँ र हाम्रा भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई यो लागु पदार्थबाट बचाउँ। Chandra Samar, America has not won the war on drugs since 1970. So much damage has caused the society and has suffered people from all race, rich, poor, and all neighborhood. Thank you, Chandra ji. Indra Paudel is, and this is very, very important to our community. Thank you. And Nayan Nirola Jai Narayana. So Neil Katel is writing from DEA inside here, returning from Louisville, Kentucky. I appreciate the heart you are putting into this work. What personal moment or experience first moved you towards doing this kind of outreach and spread how you see the people you are trying to help? Number two, and for the information you are sharing today, which verified and independently reviewed medical and public health sources do you rely on? Where can the public access this citation? Can you go and tell
Wow.
us?
Well, that's a lot. What first got me started is I went to meetings for a New Americans group that was being hosted by an Ethiopian agency here in Columbus, Ohio, and I got to meet them. I got to meet a lot of people, and they mentioned that there's a drug problem in their community. So I said, I think I have some information that can help. That's what got me started. Then I helped an organization that was started by a father who lost his son to heroin after his pain medication ran out. He was into OxyContin and other things. It opened my eyes to the fact that it's right next door. It's not 50 miles away. It's not 100 miles away. The problem is right here next to me. And I felt I needed to try and do something about it. And this is how I do it.
Thank you. And with the next question, and for the information you are sharing today, which verified and independently reviewed medical or public health sources do you rely on?
Well, I don't write the booklets, so I'm not sure what they use.
But I think they can
But
go.
here's
They can
here's
go to
what
the
they can
website.
do. They can find it online. If they go to drugfreeworld.org/REFS, that will list the references that we use to document this information.
Thank you, Anil Kattelji. Thank you so much. That's very good questions and very, very insightful questions. So I think go to the website and get. But my request to everyone, with my bowing my head to you, please, 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 please share these things because it's so important. I get a lot of calls from folks around here in around the country, but I'm focusing more on Central Ohio. Because who knows who could be saving their life because of this one video. I think we are here saving their life.
And we have other representatives around the country. So please, if you reach out to me, I will find out who is closest to you, and we will make that connection.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you, Neil. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.